Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back to the channel. If you're here as part of the live stream, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. Let me know everything. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk Chelsea. There's a lot to get through. We're gonna get the latest from Liam Rosenior on his press conference as well. Half one that takes place. We're gonna talk about Dário Essugo. Out till March. We're going to talk about Romeo Lavia, the midfield crisis. We're going to talk about Roman Abramovich. We're going to talk about Todd Bowley, Bedad Agbali. We're going to talk a lot of stuff in this live stream. We're going to do all of that in the next 45 minutes or so. So make sure if you're here as part of the live stream, you get involved in the chat. Make sure you like the video, all of that stuff. Where do we start? Where do we start as Chelsea fans? Let's start with Dário Essugo. Dário Essugo. Now, if you remember with Dário Essugo, there was no time frame. We were not given a time frame for how long Dário Essugo was going to be ruled out for. But according to The Athletic, yesterday we got some news, and it says here, with Dário Essugo being ruled out until March, having not played at all this season, and Romeo Lavia, who's been ruled out since November, Chelsea have thought about adding some midfield depth. Now, here's what annoys me. Here's what annoys me about this situation, because we spent the best part of, I'm going to say the best part of, say 3 to 4 weeks of the transfer window. We spent that much time trying to sign Jeremy Jacquet. And in the summer window, we spent so much time on Mike Maignan, if you remember, after the club woke up. And yeah, I know, look, we brought in Essugo, played well. You can't expect to get an injury like that. But when you've got, I mean, look, let me show you our depth. This is our midfield depth that we've got at the moment now. And I use the word depth very, very loosely. Very loosely. This is the depth that we've got at the club. This is the depth we've got. I'm going to use this word loosely. Depth. Midfield depth. This is the depth that we've got at the club. Obviously, credit to see Mamadou Sarr back. Hopefully we get some news about him at the press conference at 1:30. But this is it. Look, we got Enzo Fernandez, Dário Essugo, who we now know is probably not even going to feature this season. Whether he comes back in March, he's not playing that much football. He's not playing enough football to impact our season. So let's rule him out for the season. You've got Andre Santos. You've got Moises Caicedo, who's always one tackle away from a red card. And then you've got Romeo Lavia. Now, let's just say, for argument's sake, we've got a fixture congestion coming up. Caicedo gets himself sent off. You're looking at Santos and Fernandez as the two midfielders. That's it. That's the depth. That is the depth. Enzo Fernandez, Andre Santos, Moises Caicedo. We've got to talk about Romeo Lavia, because the amount of money we've paid to bring this guy in, and he's 22. He made his debut on the 27th of December, 2023. Let me just remind you of the date today. It's the 5th of Feb, 2026. And this guy has not played 90 minutes for the football club. 90 minutes for the football club this season. I feel like we might need to have conversations about him. 7-year deal. We got to have conversations about Lavia. But it looks like Dário Essugo is exactly the same, in the same bracket as him, though, because again, another player, young 20-year-old player, still hasn't featured for us this season. Still hasn't featured for us this season. 2 appearances. He's played 60 minutes. 63. Let's give him the extra 3 minutes. That's his stats for the season. 2 games. 60. He's played an hour's worth of football. And this is after £2 billion spent at the football club. That's the depth that we're currently using at the club. That is the depth that we've got at this football club. That's the depth. That is the depth. That is the depth. Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Andre Santos. That's the depth. That is the depth. That's one, to me personally, that's one of the key areas that we should have been looking at in this window. That's one of the key areas we should have been looking at, because yes, we've got, you need to bring in an experienced centre back, but we were never going to do that in this window. We were never going to bring in an experienced centre back in this window. We weren't. And look at what we've done. We went and brought back Aaron Anslamino from Dortmund to only go and loan him out to Strasbourg to then bring back Mamadou Sarr. So if that was an option, which we knew it was always an option to recall both of those players, why did we go so hard for Jeremy Jacquet for him only to sign for Liverpool? Why did we do that? That doesn't even make any sense. Why did we do that? Why did we not just focus on the priorities at the football club, which is scout properly? Lavia's injuries are not new. These are not new things. He had injuries when he was at Man City. He had injuries at Southampton. So I can't understand why we went for him. I can't. We're in trouble, Chelsea fans. We're in trouble. Because if one of the three of Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, or Andre Santos get injured, we're in trouble. Big yourself up, Daniel, in the chat as always, every single time. Chelsea are falling behind our rivals like City and Liverpool and Arsenal. Something needs to change. I've had enough for 4 years over their model, and Bluecoat out, sporting directors out, all board members out, is what Daniel's saying in the chat. I think you're echoing a lot of what people are saying. A lot of other Chelsea fans are saying as well. Embarrassed resting your captain, Reece James, in a semi-final. You should be playing. You're in a major semi-final. Poor mentality from owners. Don't even care about winning League Cups. And this is what I was saying the other day in the video. This is why they don't care, because you only get £100,000 for winning the Carabao Cup. You get £100,000. And like I said in the match review yesterday, none of these owners care about that. None of these owners are going to care about 100 grand. That's small. That's chump change to them. These owners are talking about the big stuff, the Champions Leagues, the qualifying for top 4, winning the Club World Cup. They're not bothered about trophies. Medical teams got too much involvement, way too much to say for themselves. If the medical team can come in and have such a significant impact on team selection, we got a question: how long do we give? How long are we giving Liam Rosenior? And I'm not talking about Liam Rosenior because I don't think he's good enough for the job. I actually think he's very good for the job. I think he's very good for the job. I think the problem for Rosenior is that he's going to have too many cooks in the kitchen, telling him who to start, who not to play, who to play with. And I think that's going to be a massive problem for me, for Rosenior. He's going to have too many people trying to control him. Yep, agree with this as well. Lavia is made out of glass, 100%. He has to be. He has to be made out of something that isn't. He can't sustain, back-to-back games. I mean, we can't even use the excuse of like with Reece James or with even like now with Cole Palmer. We can't use the fact that he's played back-to-back matches or he's played a number of key games. He hasn't played 90 minutes for the football club. He's been here for nearly 3 years. And he hasn't played 90 minutes of football. Got to have question marks about this ownership. We got to have question marks about this ownership, 100%. How are the sporting directors not being held accountable and responsible? Do I trust them next summer? Well, I'm going to say what I've said before again. These owners, Blueco, are going to be happy with our sporting directors because they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're doing exactly what they need to do. That is to get the trophies through the door. Sorry, not even the trophies, the players through the door. So I had to give a big cough there. Yeah, the sporting directors are getting things right off the field. They're bringing in the players and not the trophies. So for the sporting directors and the owners, they're doing exactly what they need to do. That's bringing in money through the club, whether that's through player sales, whether that's through merchandise, whether that's through ticket sales, whether that's through bringing celebrities to the stadium or whatever else. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing as a football club off the field, generating the money. But in terms of, but I keep saying this, and I keep saying on every live stream, it's coming at the cost of us as a football club, as our team, as a fan base, as winning trophies, silverware. We're not winning it because we're not set up to win it. So to answer your question, no, I do not trust them. I do not trust these sporting directors one bit at all. They've done nothing in the past 3 transfers in the summer to even get like a 5% inkling that they're going to get something right this summer. They've done nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. The best thing I think they've done in the past 12 months is to get Raheem Sterling off the books. And that should have been done in the summer as well. That was 6 months too late as well. So no, I do not trust them at all to get anything right in the summer. Yeah, I agree. Top 4 should not be the bare minimum for this club. Top 4 is almost like when you, and I hate going back to the money side of things, but when you spend as much money as we've spent, top 4 should be a given. In fact, we shouldn't be talking about top 4. We should be talking about, right, why are we 3 points off of Liverpool? How do we get back to being top of the Premier League after this much money? I always go back to imagine the money that Roman, and we're going to get onto a very good Twitter thread in a minute, what would Roman do with this? If Roman had £2 billion to spend, and he spent well more than that over the years, but if he had £2 billion to spend in the space of time that Blue Co have had, I guarantee you our squad would be world beaters. If you gave Roman Abramovich the $2 billion that this club has spent in the space of time that Blue Co's here, in the chat, please, if here's the live stream going on, please name me the squad you think Roman Abramovich would have with the $2 billion that Blue Co has spent. Because I'm guaranteeing you from now, it would not have Garnacho in there. It wouldn't have the likes of Gittins in the team. We probably wouldn't have Jarell Hatto. We would have world-class players throughout the team, a world-class goalkeeper, a world-class striker. 2 in the midfield would be brilliant. You'd have 2 on the wider areas, amazing. You'd have a Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. You'd have world-class players. Players that you're proud to wear on the back of the shirt. Names on the back of the shirt, you're proud to go and get them. No one's getting a Garnacho shirt. This bonkers. It's nuts. It's absolutely bonkers. Osman up front, 100%. We missed out on Osman because, and I'll tell you this, we missed out on Osman because of Sterling. 100%. Absolute 100%. Let's get into this. I want to get into this thread. Because this is on Twitter at the moment. I come across it this morning. And I'll be honest, I haven't read all of it. I have not read all of this. We're going to read it together though. Let's read it together. Because I think there's some truths in here. So this is a thread. This was put together by Bobby Fairview on Twitter. So big yourself up, whoever you are. In fact, let's give him a follow. Are we following him? Let's follow him. Because this is a really good thread. So this is all about, so it says the reasons Chelsea is now a sell to buy club. This goes back to what Daniel in the chat was just saying about the sporting directors, and has nothing to do with UEFA sanctions. And he's put here that I finally worked out how the purchase from Roman was actually funded. So going to the first bit here, and it says around Roman Abramovich didn't just sell Chelsea, he protected the club. He forced the buyers to commit to £4.2 billion. 2.5 billion was paid to him, and 1.7 billion guaranteed investment in Chelsea itself. That 1.7 billion was written into the deal. Okay, So we're saying that Roman got the 2.5 billion. This is the money that is currently being discussed amongst Parliament and whatever else about where does it need to go to in terms of the humanitarian rights to Ukraine and Russia and all the rest of it. This is the 2.5 billion that is currently held as part of the assets that the government own at the moment. The 1.7 billion was the committed amount that whoever brought Chelsea had to make sure that they put back into the club. So that 1.7 was written into the deal. Yeah. Right. So that's what that's saying. That's that's telling us that there. So the 1.7 wasn't a suggestion. It was a binding obligation to fund player transfers. This is a very crucial part. Player transfers, the stadium, which we've spoken about in the past, that the stadium has not been, it's gone under the radar. We're not even talking about Earls Court because I think that's not even an option anymore, or expansion of Stamford Bridge. None of these things are spoken about anymore. The academy and the women's team. He's also gone on here to say Roman deserves a lot more fan appreciation for this. And I think he does get that 100%. What he didn't appreciate was how the money would be squandered. Now, he's put a snippet in here. I'm going to try and zoom in if I can. So the red part of this is more around the bit that we're talking about. So in addition to the 2.5 billion acquisition price explained above, Blueco, which is obviously who we all want out of the club now, has made funding commitments of 1.7 billion to cover future investments in the club's stadium, academy, and women's team. The purchase agreement includes 150 million holdback provision, which the directors do not currently expect to become payable. Right, so we know that the club they've committed to spending the 2 billion, which is what they've done. In fact, they've spent the 1.7 and then they've actually overspent and overcommitted. Goes on here to say that the 1.6 billion of equity used to buy Chelsea came from two Clearlake funds, Clearlake Capital Partners and Clearlake Opportunities Partners as well. So it's two separate entities of Clearlake. Both closed in May 2022. They cannot make further cash calls, so forget any more money coming. This is the new money that they're talking about here. So they talk about Clearlake Opportunities Partners had to be used because Clearlake Capital Partners could not fund the full check on its own. So basically they used two entities of Clearlake, put them together to form the money to be able to buy Chelsea Football Club, which I think they've put here. In plain English, Clearlake had already used up all the equity they were willing or allowed to put into Chelsea at acquisition, so they needed co-investments. There was never any spare money. Okay? So it goes on as well to say that, so how was the 1.7 billion investment commitment actually met? Not with new Clearlake equity. It was met by debt. So selling the club assets. So when you think back when we spoke about last year about selling of the women's team, selling of Under the Bridge, selling of all these assets that we currently had under Chelsea and selling them, that's how they've generated additional money. Okay, so it says here it was met by debt, selling club assets, and one small balancing check of 128 million from the owners. So that's all the owners have put in. That's all the owners have put in, 128 million. And look, you can see it here. So this is not me just talking because I'm talking. This is actual, you can see it here. Yeah, we're talking in millions here as well. Yeah. 527, 275 million, and Clearlake Bowley equity, 128 million. So they put the least amount between them into Chelsea. Yeah. That makes up the 1.6 bill. Also here you'll see 102.8 billion of bank debt first. Yeah. 275 million from selling club assets to themselves, that's a hotel, the women's team, etc., and 128 million of owners' equity. The 128 million is not to pay interest, it was the balancing number for the amounts required by Roman. Yeah? So hopefully everyone's staying with me. The conclusion is unavoidable. The Clearlake funds that brought Chelsea are fully spent. Yeah? So when we keep talking now, and this is what I was trying to say a couple of weeks ago, when I keep saying now, we can't just keep going out and spending money because we spent all the money. There's no more money to be spent. The commitment was to spend 1.7 billion. The club has spent the 1.7 billion, but we haven't got a midfield. We've got no midfield, and we spent 1.7 billion more. We spent nearly £2 billion, and we're now talking about Dário Essugo, Romeo Lavia being out for the remainder of the season, and we've got 3 midfield options. Now, if one of them get injured or suspended, we are down to the bare bones in our midfield, and we spent £1.7 billion. It goes on to say here that the Clear Lake funds that brought Chelsea are fully spent. There is no other investor money left for player transfers. Chelsea now has to self-sufficient by flipping kids. Okay? But the club runs £200 million in operating loss a year before bank interest. So Chelsea's value now is simple. Can it flip a 90-plus player squad of kids to survive? This isn't a project anymore. It's a sell to buy model, by necessity. Until they sell, it's locked in by a fully leveraged, balanced sheet. The cake is baked. Now it's time to eat. Yeah? This is where we are, Chelsea fans. This is where we are. There's another link down there if anyone's interested. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is exactly what I'm trying to say to everyone. This is why we are where we are. We're going to get onto this. We're going to get onto the press conference shortly. But this is why we are where we are as Chelsea fans, because the money's just not there now. This is why when we go and buy Gittins and Garnacho in the season, this is why when we're backing out of Jeremy Jacquet deals, because we can't afford them. We've got no money to spend. All the money has been tied up in other areas, and we're struggling now. Now we're struggling. It's mental. It's absolute. The fact that we spent that much money, and we go into a semi-final against Arsenal with Liam Delap on the right wing and Enzo Fernandez on the left wing, and oh man, Chelsea fans, we're in trouble. We're in absolute trouble. And I want to show you this as well. Let me show you this. Because there's more. Enzo Fernandez has offered himself to Real Madrid. His dream is to play for them one day. Now, I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago because I think this is going to happen. I think Enzo Fernandez is going to end up. I think Enzo Fernandez is going to end up there because I think for me personally, I think he's going to get to the point where he's going to realize this is a circus. He's joined a circus. Now imagine we lose Enzo Fernandez. Guess who follows him out the door? Maybe not in that summer window, but the following summer window, Moises Caicedo is not hanging around. Enzo Fernandez is not hanging around. Off the back of a World Cup. If he goes to the World Cup and he plays well, I guarantee there's Real Madrid. And the only thing that stops Real Madrid getting him right now is they can't afford him. And the good thing for us, for a lot of our top players, the Cole Palmers, the Moises Caicedos, Enzo, they're locked in. They're locked into deals. So we're okay for now. But look, this is a club. I've just showed you that the club needs to generate assets from somewhere, generate money from somewhere. All our players are deemed as assets. Every single one of them. Down to the goalpost, down to the seats that you sit on at Stamford Bridge. They're all assets to this football club. So my question to you is, how have we spent £1.7 billion and that is our midfield? Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Andre Santos, 3 midfielders. And we could end up losing one of the best ones that we've got in Enzo Fernandez in the summer. It ain't good enough. It ain't good enough. It ain't good enough. It's not good enough at all. It's not good enough. Let's get on to the press conference. Let's see what they're putting Liam Rosenior through his paces at the moment. Let's have a look. Where are we? I'm sure there's going to be some shockers. There'll be some shockers in the press conference. There'll be some shockers in here. Let's have a look. So we got. Okay. Straight away, straight from the jump. Now, bearing in mind, we were told, if I'm not mistaken, we were told that Pedro Neto, Reece James will be back for Wolves. That's why they didn't play. And how do you not know? How do you not know if your own players are going to be fit enough to how do you not know this? How do you not know if your players, Reece James and Pedro Neto, are going to be fit enough to play? The game's in 2 days, less than 48 hours. If they're not ready now, because you're going to have one training session tomorrow morning, and then you're going to travel to Wolves. So how do you not know if your players are ready? This is because the medical staff are doing the talking for the manager. Dangerous game to play. Dangerous game to play. And that's for both of them, not just Reece James and Pedro Neto. Liam Rosenior confirms Jamie Gittins has tore his hamstring. Jamie's looking more long-term. It's a real shame. A tear in his hamstring. I can't even say. Yeah. That's and it goes back to my point. He hasn't even played that much football. We're just signing players on data and stats and all of this. We're not even signing players because we think they're going to add some value to the squad. So we've lost Jamie Gittins for the season. Anyone who gets an injury at this point in the season, there's only 4 months left of the season now. Anyone who gets an injury now, at this point in the season, a long-term tearing of a hamstring, muscular injury, out till March, whatever, you're not seeing them for this season now. So let's put Jamie Gittins alongside Dário Essugo. Cole Palmer, Esteval, both available. We'll believe that one when we see it. Liam Rosenior on Arsenal defeat. There was a very, very solid performance. It wasn't. Let's not lie to ourselves. Very good at home. The game could have gone our way. Disappointed, but now we focus on Wolves. No. Unhappiness during pre-match versus Arsenal. It wasn't the players. I was respectful. When you warm up, you have your. Can you imagine being you're in the press conference. You've probably been to some form of university to get your journalism degree, and you're asking the manager of Chelsea Football Club why he was unhappy that Arsenal were training in our half. What a waste of a question. But let's go back to this one. It was not a solid performance against Arsenal, I'll be honest. Define solid performance. It wasn't a solid performance. The game could not have gone our way. We did not test Kepa. We did not get the ball into the box. We did not throw everything at it. We did not leave everything out there on the pitch. We did not start with the best 11. We didn't. We had Enzo Fernandez on the left wing and Liam Delap on the right wing. It could not have gone our way. Do not gaslight us as Chelsea fans. This is nuts. You want all your players to be 100% of the time. I wouldn't say frustration. I'm trying to get the very best out of Cole Palmer and the team. I'm taking in the many games and competitions we're in. That affects my decision making. It shouldn't. Yeah, look, his best position is on the pitch. So someone's obviously asked him where his best position is for Cole Palmer. And like a politician, he's come back with his best positions on the pitch. Just be honest. Is he on the 10 or is he on the right or on the left? Just be honest. He's starting to annoy me with all this talking. Like, even in defeat, you have a level of positivity, yeah, but no, this is nonsense. The response has been really positive. Okay. And again, I don't like this as well. This is starting to do my head in as well. Because he's done it with Pep. He did it when we played Napoli. He was talking about Maradona being one of his faves. He said Pep's one of the greatest managers and I love him. Mate, you're Chelsea manager. Forget all this positive nonsense. And look, Wolves have put in some very positive performances in their last games. The biggest thing for me, I want to see consistency in our performance in every game we play. I've spoken to the group. Wolves is another huge game for our season. Are you being serious? They're battling relegation. Yeah, see, now I'm starting to feel like we've got a puppet master at the club. Now I'm starting to think we've got a puppet master in charge of Chelsea Football Club, because even now, just you're having to sell the Strasbourg multi-club model thing is not working. It isn't working. And if I was a Strasbourg fan, I'd be going absolutely mental. I'd be going mental because we're using them to develop our players to bring them back when we want. That can't happen. That can't happen. He's just saying a lot. He's just saying a lot. He's just saying a lot. He's just saying a lot at the moment. It's starting to stress me out. I feel like we've got a puppet master in the club, and it's starting to stress me out a little bit. Yeah, agree. And look, I want Liam Rosenior to do very, very well at Chelsea. I don't want him to fail. I don't want him to be another manager that doesn't succeed and doesn't do well here at all. I want him to do very, very well. But I am concerned that he's saying things just to kind of appease the fans and make us feel like we're in it together with him, when actually, yeah, we are. I'll be honest, we are absolutely in the banter era of Chelsea Football Club. We're in the look. I'm older than a lot of people that probably watch these videos, and I'm going to be honest. I've been through times when Chelsea were a banter club. I'll be honest. Things were not good for us. We were bad, and we nearly went into administration. So I've seen it. But in this era of football, when you've had the dominance, you've had the Roman years, you've had the Premier Leagues, you've had the Champions League, Jose, Conte, Ancelotti, Didier Drogba, Costa, Hazard. You've had John Terry, Frank Lampard, Ashley Cole, Cesar Spilicueta. You've had Thibaut Courtois, as much as he's annoying. You've had him. You've had Petr Cech, Dennis Wise, Gianfranco Zola, Iron Robben. Players that just, when you watch them play, they were majestic players at the football club. We are an absolute circus of a football club right now. An absolute circus of a football club right now. I'm disgusted at how we've fallen this far. Like I said last week, I was celebrating a 3-2 win against West Ham United. Our manager is saying it's a massive game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm not saying we should be disrespectful to Wolves and that we should be saying we should be smashing them 6-0, but look, they're in a relegation battle. Tuesday night was the massive game. That was the game where you throw everything at it. And I'll be honest, they're the games where you risk Cole Palmer, you risk Esteval, who might not have, he hasn't trained and he's been traveling, might have a bit of jet lag. Those are the games where it goes all out the window. You don't even care. If you lose, you lose. But you know what? When you come off that pitch, you tried your hardest, you put out your best 11, you didn't have Liam Delap on the right wing. Those are the games where you actually have to give everything and throw everything at it and forget about injuries. Even if it costs you your season and you get to that final at Wembley and you win you win the League Cup, that injury doesn't even come into the picture. But when you're talking about Wolves, this is Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're struggling. And we're talking about Wolves like we're playing Barcelona. Exactly. How is it a massive game? This is no disrespect to Wolves either, because they could actually turn us over at Molineux. So I don't want it to come back and haunt us. But oh my gosh, this is mental. This is absolutely mental. Yeah, Pranav, appreciate that. At least you've got to. You got to pick your battles. Like, do you want to get to the final and play at Wembley? If that's the case, you throw Cole Palmer into the mix from the start. I feel I want to give Rosenior the opportunity to prove me wrong, and I hope he does. I love being proven wrong. I love to be the Chelsea fan where people can come in back into the comments and say, you got that wrong, or you got this wrong, and you're an idiot for saying this, you're an idiot for saying that. I want to be that fan. I want to be the Chelsea fan that people can come back to and say, you was wrong. I want to be that Chelsea fan. But I'll be honest, there's a lot of talking from Liam Rosenior, and yes, you've only got 2 defeats in 8 and both of them come to Arsenal, but you're not saying all the right things for me anymore. You're just, everything's positive. Someone actually told me, never trust someone who never has anything bad to say about anything. Because if that's not a real person, that's a robotic person. Because I thought Liam Rosenior came in and he sounded very sort of just normal. He didn't sound like a robot. Now he talks like a robot. Now he's like it's almost like he's too media trained. Like he just says everything that you want to hear, but he doesn't put it into the practice. He's not putting it into motion. Oh man. Getting stressed. I'm getting stressed. Right, let me just, going off the back of the thread that we just had up before we wrap up. I want to show you guys this. Right, look, this is our signings from the summer window. This is only summer. Let's not talk about the winter because we only brought back Mamadou Sarr. Just look at the signings that we've signed. Just look at the signings that we've signed. And I'll be honest, some of them shouldn't even be on there. Some of them should not be on there. Let's take it from Liam Delap onwards, because Essugo, Sarr, and Kendry Payas were already Chelsea players. Just look at that. And Esteval shouldn't be on there either. So Delap, Heto, Garnacho, Gittins, and so we didn't even address. There's no defenders on there. Don't think Mamadou Sarr's new is not. There's no centre backs on there. We brought in 2 left wingers, 2 centre forwards, although can you call João Pedro a centre forward? And a left back. No centre backs. And look at the price that we paid for Liam Delap and João Pedro. Now that gets you some. We only needed 1 of those. We've still got Mark Gui, and we could have kept Nicholas Jackson, and we could have signed a proper striker. It's baffling. It's baffling. The position that we're in, Chelsea fans, we are in absolute trouble. Absolute trouble. Absolute trouble. We're in absolute trouble. Yeah. Liam said Reece and Neto will be ready after match press conference. Well, I don't think they are. I reckon they'll be on the. One of them will play, one will be on the bench. One will play, one will be on the bench. 100%. 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. They will not be both ready. They'll not be both ready. And I think and the reason they won't be as well is because we've got Leeds. We've got Leeds on the Tuesday. We've got Leeds at home on the Tuesday. So there's no way he's not going to play. I guarantee you there's going to be more change on Saturday. And the reason for it is because we've got Leeds on the Tuesday. And that's all it will come down to. And if I'm being honest, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough at all. Chat, we're going to wrap up. It's a quick, short live. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Where do we go from here? We've got 3 midfielders to survive the season and get top 4. We're not winning a trophy this season. We're not winning the Champions League. We're not winning the Premier League. FA Cup, I highly doubt it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. How do we navigate through the remainder of this season with 3 midfielders? How do we navigate? Yeah, I think we're stuck with Liam Delap. I do think we're stuck with him, but don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Hit that like button, subscribe, all of that stuff. Thank you very much for joining. We'll be back tomorrow.